Hey guys, this is gonna be What If Naruto was the son of Lucifer and Lord Jashin. I will try to upload What If Naruto had the power of the Akatsuki and the Ten Tails tomorrow, but let's get into this. So, we're gonna start this off in Hell, where Naruto is walking down a corridor. As he opens two double doors, he walks in and kneels down. Father, mother, what can I do for you today? My son, we fear that Earth is in danger. We need you to go and stop whatever's coming. And his mother says, we have a gift for you, so you can defeat whatever this is sooner rather than later. As they hand him his dual-bladed scythe, and as he touches it, the scythe grows to the size it is now. It turns black. It was silver. The blade turns black and white as the pole that connects the blade turns purple. As he says, thank you, mother, father. When should this threat be coming toward Earth? As Lucifer looks at his son and says, in a couple billion years or so. As he says, alright, my son, I have one more thing for you. These two Jashinists are very helpful in the way of Jashin, and they have agreed to help you on your way to defeat this threat. As he snaps his fingers, and two circles, the way of Jashin sign, two of those circles appear on the ground as two females come out of it, and they kneel and say, hello, Lord Naruto. As he looks at the two and says, what are your names? The girl dressed in red says, my name is Victoria. And the girl dressed in purple says, my name is Sarah. As he says, Sarah, Victoria, come with me. As he makes a big magic circle out of blood. Don't ask where he got it. He makes it out of his blood. And he disappears from the court where his parents are. As Lucifer, female Lucifer, looks over at Jashin and says, you think he'll be able to handle it? Jashin says, only time will tell. As they appear on Earth, currently Earth is a giant rock. So he has to wait a couple billion years for water and stuff to form. Seeing that they're all immortal, they don't have to eat or drink anything. So they wait and wait. I'm going to say they wait for 2 billion years as they see human civilization. And when human civilization starts, blood starts spilling. So all three of them are walking into a town. Let's say, you know what? Let's say this is like the old Europe of our time, like with the Greeks, and they're walking into the Greek Empire as they start killing everything they can find. As every time they kill someone or something, they get stronger. But it's better if it's people. So this is going to start paving the path for the Naruto universe, because they never had time to innovate, and they destroyed any innovations that came. So Naruto universe gonna have the kunai and a TV, I guess, microwave, oven, refrigerator. That's it. So they kill the entire European side of things, and they kill anyone that's in the US. And so they left 2 people alive, and well, no, they left a group of 100 people alive, but they were children, so they could cultivate themselves. So after another billion years, uh, they see the human civilization with katanas, and it's basically the samurai era. And that's when they feel the power of Kaguya coming toward Earth. As Naruto stands up, Victoria, Sarah, come with me. As they run toward the power source, and they're hiding in the trees when she hits the earth. As they look at her, they see Inosuke, because they know about their race. They think they're gods. So they land, and Naruto sees Kaguya coming out of her space pod or whatever. As she floats, well, she levitates up into the sky, and she looks for a human village. As she goes toward the closest one she can find, and Naruto destroys the pod, sending it into the void. As he follows Kaguya, and he and the girls all see Kaguya in front of a human daimyo. As the daimyo does what he did in canon, says, "Who are you?" or "What are you?" As she says, "I'm Inosuke. I was sent here to create the God Tree." And after all that, I'm gonna say 1 year later, she makes the God Tree. As it currently is just taking chakra from the earth and not from people. But after the betrayal of her husband, I'm gonna say Hagoromo and Hamura are not born yet, but she's pregnant with both of them. After the betrayal of her husband, she put the world in infinite Tsukuyomi, as it's taking the power from all the humans. As Naruto's looking at this and says, "Is this what father was talking about?" As he asks his father, and he says, "No, not yet. You still have a couple thousand years or so." As they wait to see how this turns out, as some people get let go of the infinite Tsukuyomi, but they are worshipping Kaguya, as Hagoromo and Hamura were born, and Naruto visited both Hagoromo and Hamura when Kaguya wasn't there, and saw them both and saw how much power they would have in the future. It was nothing compared to Lucifer or Lord Jashin or Naruto or the girls, but still he would have great power compared to the humans. As there currently isn't much chakra in humans right now, because Hagoromo isn't like the same age he was in canon when he dispersed the chakra throughout the earth. But now that they're born, Naruto's watching Hagoromo, Hamura, and Kaguya very closely. As when they become teenagers, they start asking their mom about the God Tree and why the moon is always red was a ring with Tomo in it. And Kaguya always changes the subject or just tells them to don't worry about it. As they start to be suspicious of their mother, and I'm gonna say in their adult years when they decided to just go look at the god tree up close. They saw that it was taking chakra from humans, and they said they needed to stop their mother. So, I'm going to say a couple years after they said they needed to stop their mother, Kaguya started to go crazy because of the power of the god tree. And she starts putting the people she took out of Infinite Tsukiyomi back into it. And she starts to try and kill her children because the god tree is saying that they're gonna go against her. As Hagoromo and Hamura, well, the battle starts, and if they didn't stop soon, it might destroy half of Earth. As Naruto appears in front of all three of them, and the girls appear behind Kaguya and Hagoromo and Hamura. Victoria is behind Kaguya and Sarah's behind the boys. As they all have their size to each of the Otsutsuki. Sarah has her scythe on Hagoromo, and I'm going to say she summons another scythe and puts it on Hamura. And Victoria has her scythe on Kaguya's neck. So Naruto is just standing in front of them and asking why they're fighting, as Hagoromo and Hamura tell what their mother is doing. But Kaguya, she is not saying anything. She looks at her sons while tears go down her face, and she says, "You need to stop me." And her third eye opens again, and she stops crying because, well, the god tree's trying to take control of her body. Like Kurama trying to take control of Naruto's body in canon. Every time he went to use Kurama's chakra. So, we see Naruto looking at Kaguya. As he takes his scythe, he puts his scythe on top of Kaguya's head and draws the power of the Ten Tails out of her. But in the process, it sealed her into the moon. And he eats the chakra fruit from the Ten Tails. Well, he basically ate the Ten Tails power, added it to his own. And he looks at Hagoromo and Hamura as he says, "Your mother's gone. Are you happy now?" As Hamura says no. And he says, "I'll go to the moon and watch her to make sure she doesn't escape." As he goes to the moon, as Hagoromo, he's really suspicious about Naruto and asks, "Who is he?" And he says, "All with due time, Hagoromo. All with due time." As they disappear, and Hagoromo looks at what's left of the god tree and says, "I can't let that turn into a tailed beast." As it's already in the process because of the human chakra that it absorbed. Even though Naruto took the original power of it, I'm gonna say there's enough power inside the Ten Tails for there to be another Ten Tails. Because hold on one second. Sorry about that, guys. But yes, Hagoromo, he takes what's left of the chakra of the Ten Tails. It's enough to create all 9-tailed beasts, and he separates it into the 9-tailed beasts. So they're gonna be like half the power they had in canon, but they're gonna have about the same amount of power to the humans, because the humans are gonna also have half the power they had in canon, but it'll also be like canon. Anyway, you'll see. So, like, Naruto's massive chakra reserves would be half, but to the rest of the world, he would still have massive chakra. Like that. You know what? Never mind. Scrap that. He's gonna have the entire the tail beasts are gonna have the same amount of chakra, and the humans are also gonna have the same amount of chakra as in canon. So Naruto waits. He saw that Hagoromo turned the the 10 tails into the 9-tailed beast. As he walks into the cave where Hagoromo is about to die and the 9-tailed beasts are around him, as Hagoromo is giving them his last, his dying wishes, as Naruto walks in, as he looks at Hagoromo and says, well, time hasn't done you mercy, huh? As he smiles and says, not really. As he looks at Hagoromo and says, your sons are fighting outside. What do you want me to kill them? As Hagoromo says no, they need to figure it out by themselves, that power isn't everything. As Naruto laughs and says power is everything. As he looks at Hagoromo and says, what do you want me to do with your body? And Hagoromo says, I want you to send it somewhere where no one can find it. And I want you to leave my chakra in nature. As he says, alright. So he removes the chakra of Hagoromo and puts it with nature, as he sent the body to hell where his parents are, and they dealt with it as it should be. As Lucifer said that they should just bury it in the pits in Tartarus. And Lord Jashin says maybe we should just drink all of his blood and take his powers. As Naruto, he already has the Rinne Sharingan from the 10 Tails power. The 10 Tails can't take over Naruto because, well, he's the son of 2 gods. As Naruto, he just uses the 10 Tails power for everyday things like walking up the side of buildings and stuff. As he waits another 1,000 years, as the tailed beasts grew up to the size they are in canon, about 20 years from canon. You know what? No. He sees the fight between Madara and Hashirama as he is eating a bag of chips while watching it. As he says, as he yells, good job, keep going. As they turn and look at him, and he says, don't stop because of me. And as Madara says, who are you? And Hashirama says, you look strong, can you help me? As he says, no, you two need to figure it out. And he gets a laugh from that. As he watches them fight, as Madara summons the 10 Tails. Well, not the 10 Tails. He summons Kurama, the 9 Tails. Sorry about that. I was about to be real confused. As Mito came out of nowhere and seals the 9 Tails inside of herself. As when that happens, Madara and Hashirama have their final stand, as they use their most powerful abilities. Madara uses Susanoo, and Hashirama uses his wood style, that massive hand jutsu thing. And they have a final stand at that. As in the end, Madara got stabbed through the heart, and Naruto jumped down, and he knows Madara is still alive because this was a blood clone, but it still has Madara's blood. As he takes Madara's body and removes all of his blood and drinks it, as his Rinne Sharingan turns into the Sharingan that you see on here, but that has the power of the Rinne Sharingan and the Sharingan. So he has all the abilities Madara had, and some because of the 10 Tails. And he takes the blood clone body and throws it into the waterfall, and through the waterfall into the cave where Madara was. and Madara saw that his blood was gone, but he saw the sword with Hashirama's blood. As he drank, he licked the blood, and he grew the face of Hashirama on his chest. As Naruto looks over at Hashirama and says, "Good day to you," and he looks at Naruto and says, "Would you like to join the Leaf?" As the only reason he asked if he would like to join the Leaf is because he saw the blood ability that he had, and the fact that he's now gonna have to take all the tailed beasts and separate them, because that's his idea of peace and not the cause of the next war. And Naruto says, why not? But only if you let 2 people I know join as well. As he says, the more the merrier. As they appear behind Naruto in the exact fashion that they are on the thumbnail, Victoria on the left and Sarah on the right. They're behind Naruto with their size and the X shape, as they say hello. As he gives all 3 of them a headband. Sarah wraps hers around her stomach. No, Victoria wraps hers around her stomach, and Sarah, she just puts hers on her little sash, her purple sash, as it's not on there in the thumbnail, but that's where she puts it. And Naruto, he looks at the leaf symbol, and he's wearing the same clothes as he is in the thumbnail, as he just takes it and puts fire nature chakra into the headband and burns the symbol of the leaf into onto his chest, as he says, "Is that good enough?" And Hashirama says, that'll be fine, as he gives the headband back to Hashirama. And they go on missions. All the missions they go on is mostly assassination missions, or missions where they need the most destruction, as this led up to the first Shinobi World War, as every time any of the village got near Konoha, they were sent out to kill the army that was getting closer and closer to Konoha. Even when 3 of the nations got together, like they did in Uzu, to destroy Uzu. When that happened in the first Shinobi World War, because they saw that one army wasn't enough to get near Konoha and survive. So when 3 armies that banded together to destroy Konoha, I'm gonna say it was Kiri, Mist, and AIM. Why not? As they all are going toward Konoha, the sand is not going toward Konoha, even though they're not aligned. They had an army that went, and Konoha destroyed the sand army that got close to them, as the 3 armies thought that nothing could stop the might of 3 different nations' armies, as the 3, I'm going to say they're called the Immortal Trio. They're basically Anbu that act directly behind the Hokage. No one else can really order them to do anything but the Hokage, as the Hokage ordered them to stop the army advancing toward Konoha. As they appeared in front of the army, I'm gonna say the first Kazekage, the first Mizukage, and AIM's leader all say, "Who are you?" As they say, "Your death." as they disappear and they cut off the heads of the leaders as the army runs at the three as they start the massacre. As they gain more power, the more they kill. So every time they kill someone, they gain it's like XP points. So they already had a couple million XP points from destroying Europe. So now they're gaining more from killing the entire army. As they're getting they're getting really strong. Like they've been cage level, but still, they've already passed Osuski level after killing all of Europe. And taking the Ten Tails, Naruto became a demigod level, even though he is technically a god already. I'll tell you at the end of the video what he's the god of. So they killed the army from 3 different nations, as the 3 nations are don't know what to do. Stone has tried advancing their army on Konoha, but it was destroyed along with the other armies that advanced toward Konoha, as Hashirama puts out for a peace treaty, as each nation signs it, and the time of peace lasted for about 20 years. I'm going to say that around the Second Shinobi World War was about to start, the Sanin and the Sanin were currently 2. Yeah, there were 2. As Naruto, Hashirama, the 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. Hold on 1 second. The 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, and Hanzo the Salamander are all alive currently. So Hiruzen is 20. Hanzo, I'm going to say he's 20 as well. The first Hokage, Hashirama, and Tobirama. Hashirama is 50. Tobirama is 40. And when they go out on their missions to stop one of the groups of people that were about to advance toward Konoha, they were currently far away from the Konoha border. They weren't in the Land of Fire yet, so they got ambushed. They ambushed the first Hokage, and after the first Hokage was weakened, we see Madara coming out of the shadows and stabs Hashirama in the back, as he says, "Sorry, old friend. You just couldn't be around if my plans were going to work." As Hiruzen is with Tobirama, and an army ambushes them, as Hiruzen and Tobirama both fight and destroy the army. But this is an army from, I'm going to say, Kiri, as they kill most of the men from their group, so they had to go back to Konoha. Hold on 1 second, please. So Tobirama and Hiruzen both go back to Konoha, as they find out that Hashirama was killed in action, as the second Hokage, Tobirama, was elected for the position as the second. As the end of the Second War was ended by the Immortal Trio, because Tobirama was currently very pissed off that I'm gonna say a village that popped up after the First Shinobi World War. It popped up after that, and there's a village that killed his brother Hashirama, as he sent the Immortal Trio to destroy that village. It was currently one of the weakest of the five great nations, and still he was so pissed that one of the weakest villages, half of the weakest village's army, killed his brother, as he didn't know about Madara killing Hashirama. So the immortal trio went to, I don't know, the land of wood. Why not? As they see that there's a lot of logging like posts and stuff. Hold on. They see a lot of logging places, as they say, nice scenery. As the Victoria and Sarah say, it's not gonna be soon. As they kill every ninja in the land of wood. None of the five great nations know about this weird group, because they know that it must be a group of triple S rank shinobi that the Leaf have to be able to kill three armies grouped together, as well as an entire village. As they are looking into it, but during the Fourth Shinobi World War, Togurama was killed. The third was appointed to be the third Hokage. The Sannin were already defeated by Hanzo the Salamander and given their name to Sannin. And all the five great nations were scared of Konoha, because currently they're the strongest of the five great nations with their weird group. The third Hokage is the god of shinobi, and the Sannin all cage level currently. They take on every village band together to destroy Uzu, as I'm going to say that Minato and Kushina are already in Konoha, as Mito already gave the Nine Tails to Kushina, even though Kushina is currently, I'm going to say Kushina, she's 2. As the Second Shinobi World War starts, as the villages band together to destroy Konoha after Uzu, and I'm going to say half of each village gave half of their military might to destroy Konoha. The cages win as well. The third Kazekage, the third Mizukage, the third Tsuchikage, the other Kages. I can't really think of the other Kages really. So each of the leaders of their village win as well. So this is the biggest army ever going toward any village, as the Immortal Trio was sent out by Hiruzen, as well as the 3 Sannin went, but they really went to see the Immortal Trio in action, as they currently look like they do in canon. Well, not in canon. The Sannin are younger than they look in canon, as the Immortal Trio look exactly like they do in the thumbnail. They don't have masks or anything, but when they're not killing an army or a village, they're taking on S-rank missions. They never were seen because, they never want to be seen. So they say they tell the Sannin to stay out of it, and they'll kill the army. As Sannin say, fine, we'll watch, I guess. As Jiraiya is pouting because he wants to go fight as well. I'm going to say the third is there as well, just to see how the Immortal Trio is able to kill armies and villages. As this is going to be the blood. This attack is going to be called the deadliest battle that has ever been fought, because so much blood will be spilled here. As they jump down from a cliff they're on, and the 3 land perfectly on the ground, they run toward the cages. As Hiruzen says, they're taking out the cages first, and the cages look at the 3 and they start to fight, and they get around all the abilities. I'm gonna say Naruto's taking on the third Kazekage. Well, not the third Kazekage. The third Tsuchikage. Hold on. So Naruto's taking on the third Tsuchikage. I'm gonna say the third Tsuchikage is the same third Tsuchikage as in canon, but he's younger. He's still the same size, like 4 foot something. I don't really care how tall he is, but he's younger and he doesn't have any gray on himself right now. I'm gonna say Madara did fight the third Tsuchikage. He spared the third Tsuchikage currently, as he's fighting the third Tsuchikage, and with his particle release, as he cuts the third Tsuchikage on his cheek, he licks the blood off his scythe, and he makes the curse ceremony. As the Jashin ritual occurs, he starts to stab himself. As he stabs himself in the foot, as the third Tsuchikage screams out in agony, because he's feeling the effects of being stabbed in the foot, as he stabs him in both feet, as the third Tsuchikage falls onto the ground, and he stabs himself in the right arm, and the third Tsuchikage gets stabbed in the right arm as well. As he says, as he writes on his chest, "I was beaten by the immortal trio," as that got written on third Tsuchikage's chest, and he stopped the curse and knocked him out, because he saw that the ability to turn like stone into particles was an amazing ability. So he kept him alive to see what would happen. As the other cages were killed, and the rest of the army was taken on by Naruto and the girls. Naruto uses I'm gonna say, hold on. He uses darkness manipulation and makes them all see darkness, as they go in killing everyone, as people that are just throwing around their swords and stuff. He uses telekinesis to stab himself in the eyes, and he just goes and kills them, as the entire army was destroyed by the Immortal Trio this time, as the three Sanin as well as Hiruzen were scared of what would happen if they weren't part of Konoha. So they are keeping an eye out on the Immortal Trio to make sure they don't like turn on the village. But what they don't know is that the three are liking the village, because when the wars start, armies start going toward the village, as they love to kill. So they love to maim people. They cut off heads, arms, legs. They spill their guts of people around, as they end the bloodiest war of the first three Shinobi World Wars, as the three Sanin still got their name from helping Hiruzen beat a different army, as they're never going to be able to beat an army by themselves like the Immortal Trio can. As I'm going to say a couple years go by, and well, not a couple years, a lot of years go by, and the third relinquishes his duty of being the third Hokage to the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, as the fourth Hokage wasn't Hokage for long. I'm gonna say it's been like 10 years since he's been Hokage. The third Shinobi. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. So he was given the title of the fourth Hokage because of his contribution of defeating an army of Iowa Shinobi in the Third Shinobi Great War. in the Third World War, as it's been 10 years, as I'm going to say Kushina is not pregnant in this one, but the masked man does come anyway and takes the Nine Tails out of Kushina, as the Nine Tails is going on a rampage. The Immortal aren't doing anything because they weren't ordered to do anything yet, as Minato calls him into his office and says, he looks at Naruto and says, "Can you stop the Nine Tails?" As he says, "I can, for a price." As Minato says, "What is it?" "Your soul." As Minato looks at Naruto and says, "Is there any other way?" And he says no. As Minato says, "Alright." As he shows Minato the sealing formula for Shiki Fusion to summon his father, well, not his father, one of his father's warriors, the Shinigami. As the Shinigami was summoned, and he said, "Seal it into, let's say, he said seal the Nine Tails into himself." Why not? No, he says seal the Nine Tails into... Never mind, hold on. 1 second. Forget about what I said about Kushina not being pregnant. She was pregnant, and that's how he took it, the Nine Tails out of her. As he says he'll seal it into his daughter, Mito, as she has red hair. She mostly takes after her Uzumaki genes. As he seals the Nine Tails into his daughter Mito Uzumaki, in memory of the first Mito Uzumaki, the first wife of the first Hokage, the wife of the first Hokage, Mito Uzumaki. Alright, so he looks at Mito, he takes Mito and runs toward the hospital where Kushina currently is. She's about to die, but Naruto saves her, and he heals her for a price, but she doesn't know about that price yet. As he says, "Let's just call it an IOU." As he gives her daughter to Kushina, as the third Hokage takes back up the mantle as Hokage. And that's where we're going to leave this off. So Naruto is... Hold on one second. So this is going to be the explanation of what he's the god of. He's the god of life, death, destruction, creation, darkness, and blood. Also, he's the god of nightmares. Yes. So he has all the traits of those guys. He's also... Never mind. So I hope you guys like this. I'll try and upload what if Naruto was had the powers of the Akatsuki and the Ten Tails tomorrow. And I'll see you guys then. Bye, guys.